morning. So now we're going to start with menu number 2 for Sem 5. So the menu is creme de bari, which is a cauliflower soup. Then we're going to make a main course, which is Kromeski's with tomato sauce. And then we're going to make an accompaniment, which is a classic Caesar salad. Okay. So in the menu, we are going to show you both the veg and the non-veg version of the creme de bari, which is the cauliflower soup. We are going to show you both veg and non-veg Kromeskis, and then we are going to show you both veg and non-veg Caesar salad.
So these are the ingredients for creme de bari, which is the cauliflower soup. These are bones for the stock. This is boneless chicken for the Kromeskis as well as the salad. Then these are the ingredients for the Kromeski mixture. These are the ingredients for the veg Kromeski mixture. These are the ingredients for the tomato sauce. These are the ingredients for the mayonnaise. These are the ingredients for the Caesar salad. Here we've kept some boneless chicken separate for a Caesar salad with chicken. Now for the plan of work, first we are going to make stock. So for that we are going to roughly chop or slice the onion. Then what we are going to do is we are going to take out the eye of the tomato and make a crisscross at the back and keep it ready for blanching. On one gas we are going to start making the stock. So we've put the bones in about 750 ml of water, cold water. This will come to a boil and we'll take out the scum. On the second gas we've kept water for boiling here, and we're going to blanch some tomatoes. So if you see here, we're blanching the tomatoes, putting it in boiling water for 20 seconds and then shocking them in cold water. In the same water which is boiling, we're going to blanch some asparagus as well for the Caesar salad. Okay, so here we are saving time as well as energy as well as water. Okay, so once the asparagus is blanched, we shock them in cold water, and this is an important step. We are keeping the asparagus back in its own plate, otherwise we end up forgetting to put that ingredient onto the presentation plate. Okay, next plan of work is to dice up the bread and keep it in the oven for toasting. So we've just cut the bread into squares, put some salt, pepper and some olive oil, and they will be toasted inside the oven to form croutons for the Caesar salad. So that will go at about 180 degrees Celsius, 0% humidity for about 15 to 20 minutes. So here if you see the scum is being formed in the stock. So we are going to take out that scum and we are going to add in some onion, peppercorn, bay leaf. If you have carrot trimmings, if you have a small piece of celery, that can also go inside your stock. But here we are mainly looking at the flavor of the bones. Next step is to concuss the tomatoes that we have blanched. So here we are finely chopping the tomatoes with the seeds on, since we are going to strain the sauce. Finely chop the onion as well for the tomato sauce. So one gas will be occupied with the tomato sauce, since the tomato sauce will take about 40 minutes to cook. Alright, here we are finely chopping the garlic for the tomato sauce. We also have some tomato puree and some leaves of basil for the sauce. So if you see here, the 20 minutes of the simmering of the stock is done. So we are going to strain the stock carefully. This is going to be used for the soup. So now if you see, both the gas ranges are free as of now. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to occupy the gas range. Alright. So on one gas we are going to start with the tomato sauce. So we've taken some olive oil. In that we are going to saute some garlic. Once the garlic turns light golden brown in color, we are going to add in the chopped onions. Saute that as well until the onions become translucent and soft. In that, here is a small tip. We are going to add about 1 teaspoon of flour. What will the flour do is the flour will avoid the tomato sauce to ooze out moisture when we plate it on the presentation plate. Okay. Now we are going to add in the chopped concussed tomatoes. Saute that well. And then we are going to add water in parts and let this cook on a low flame for about 20 minutes first, and then we're going to add in the tomato puree, seasoning, basil, and then cook it for a further 20 minutes. Here on the table we are going to dice some ham, bacon, and some boneless chicken. So the Kromeski mixture needs to be done really quickly because that needs to set inside the fridge. So that's going to be our next plan of work. Okay, so we're going to dice some chicken here. So if you see here, till the meat was being diced up, okay, the tomato sauce is simmering on one gas. So we're going to occupy the second gas now. So we're going to make a panada on the other gas. Alright. So for that we have taken butter. So for 4 portions we will take about 50 grams of butter. Here we've taken around 50 grams of flour. So we're going to make a panada that is 1:1:5. 1 part flour, 1 part butter, and 5 parts milk. So once the roux is formed, we're adding about 250 ml of milk. Okay, and we're going to whisk this on a low to medium flame until it becomes really thick. We are only going to add some salt for seasoning, and if you see here, it's a very thick mixture. Okay, so this is going to be used as a binding agent for the Kromeski mixture. So that is panada. Moving on to the table again now. Okay, we are going to process the mushrooms for the Kromeski mixture. Okay, so you're going to thinly slice the mushroom. So we have divided that. One is for the veg Kromeski mixture, one is for the non-veg Kromeski mixture. We're going to finely chop the parsley. That is also going to be used for both the mixtures. And then what we have some soaked shiitake mushroom. This is going to mock the meat. Okay, so the shiitake is going to be used for the vegetarian Kromeski mixture. For the vegetarian Kromeski mixture, we also have some white beans which have been soaked and boiled. So if you see here, the tomato sauce 20 minutes are done. We're going to add in some tomato puree, add in some salt, some pepper, some sugar, and the basil leaves. Okay, so this is going to simmer for another 15 to 20 minutes or until the tomatoes are completely cooked and the moisture is completely dried out. Okay, so that's going to happen on one gas. If you see here, the croutons have been done, the bread has been toasted well. We're going to keep it aside for the salad. So the tomato sauce is simmering on one gas. Alright, on the other gas now, since all our meat and mushroom is diced up and our panada is done, we're going to make the Kromeski mixture. So we've taken butter here. Important use butter because the mixture has to set inside the fridge. We're going to render the bacon, saute the bacon well. In that we are going to add in the diced ham. Saute that well too. Again here we are looking for a dry mixture because the mixture has to set inside the fridge. Okay, so make sure that your entire Kromeski mixture is nice and dry. And then we are going to add in some boneless chicken. Chicken will not take time to cook, okay, because it is diced up really small. So once the all meats are completely cooked, you will take out this mixture onto a plate. Okay, so we have not really added any seasoning there since the bacon and ham already have salt. In the same pan you can add a little bit more butter and we are going to saute the mushrooms. Okay, so the mushrooms will get that really nice flavor of the bacon and the ham and the chicken that has been cooked in the pan. Okay, so once the mushrooms are completely cooked and the moisture is lost and they turn nice and brown in color, we're going to add in the sauteed meats. Okay, a little bit of salt here, not too much of salt, some pepper powder. We're going to add in some mustard paste. Now Kromeski is a classical dish. Okay, so mustard paste is a must. So add in the mustard paste, mix this well. We're going to add in some parsley, and to this we are going to add in half the panada. Okay, because we have to make the veg mixture as well. Okay, so we're going to add in the panada and mix this really well. Okay, so because the mixture is nice and hot, okay, the panada is going to slightly thin down and this is going to uniformly mix. Okay, so if you see here, it is one uniform mixture. So on the other gas simultaneously, if you see here, 20 minutes are done. Okay, the tomato sauce has got nicely cooked, slightly dry. Okay, so our tomato sauce is almost done. Okay, so if you see here, we're taking out the Kromeski mixture onto a plate. Okay, we're going to spread the mixture out, okay, as thin as possible so that it sets faster inside the fridge. Make sure you cool down the mixture at room temperature first and then keep the mixture inside the fridge to set. This will take about 1.5 hours inside the fridge to set. Okay, so make sure you plan your work in such a way that the Kromeski mixture goes at least 2 hours before service, okay, inside the fridge. For the veg mixture, similarly, flavors are the same. Okay, we're going to take some butter, saute the boiled white haricot beans. In that, we're going to saute shiitake and button mushrooms both. Once the mixture is completely dry, we are going to add in some salt, pepper and some mustard paste and mix the mixture really well. Okay, so very similar to the non-veg Kromeski mixture, we're just going to add in some herbs for flavor. And then once this is completely dry, we are going to add in the rest of the panada. And similar to the non-veg mixture, mix this well to make it a nice uniform mixture. So here the beans provide the protein which the meat provides in the non-veg mixture, and the mushrooms are going to give that earthiness to the Kromeski mixture. Okay, so once this mixture is also complete and well mixed, put this onto a plate like we put the non-veg Kromeski mixture, a thin even layer, and then cool it down to room temperature and then keep it inside the fridge to set. So if you see here, texture, color is the same. Okay, so the next plan of work here is to strain the tomato sauce. If you see here, 40 minutes are done of the tomato sauce being cooked. So now we are going to strain the tomato sauce with the help of a strainer. We don't want the solids, we need a nice fine tomato sauce. So this is ready now for plating. Okay, next plan of work is to make the dressing. Again, it's a mayonnaise based dressing that has to be served cold. So again, in your plan of work, it needs to be made quite in advance to service. Okay, so we're going to take one egg yolk, salt, pepper, some mustard paste. Now for the Caesar dressing, we have to add anchovies. So we're going to add in some anchovies which are tinned. We're going to grate about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. Now optionally you can add the anchovies and garlic after making the mayonnaise as well. Okay, but here the garlic and the anchovies, they are really going to get uniformly mixed if you add it before making the mayonnaise. Okay, so here again we've added some vinegar, and now we are going to add the oil drop by drop, and we are going to make a mayonnaise. So we all know how to make a mayonnaise. Simple. As soon as the emulsion is forming, then you can add the oil in a stream, and the mayonnaise is done. Okay, about 150 ml of oil for one egg yolk and the mayonnaise is done. We're going to add in some Parmesan cheese at the end. and this goes inside the fridge. For the vegetarian version, here there are a few ways in which you can make a veg mayonnaise. Okay, here we are taking 1:2 parts of milk and oil. Okay, milk preferably should be cold. We're putting that in a steel mug. So what we are looking for here is to form an emulsion. If you want, you can add some soy lecithin powder here to form the emulsion, to stabilize the emulsion. We add in salt, pepper, sugar, some mustard paste, a little bit of vinegar. Okay, now you can also make mayonnaise using chickpea water. Okay, so there are multiple ways in which you can make a mayonnaise. This is one of the ways. Okay, after adding a little bit of vinegar, you take a hand blender and you blend this until it forms an emulsion. So once it forms an emulsion, we can add Parmesan cheese, and that goes inside the fridge as well. Now next plan of work will be to make the batter for the Kromeskis, the beer batter, because that needs time to ferment. Okay, so we've taken around 150 grams of flour. So in that we're going to add some salt, pepper, and some baking powder. Okay, baking powder is for the vegetarian version of the Kromeski without the egg. Okay, we're going to add only that much water to make a nice thick batter, because we need to add beer, and that's going to thin down the batter later. Okay, so don't make it thin in the first place. Okay, so add only that much water to make a really thick batter. Okay, whisk it really vigorously to take out any lumps. All right, so see here a nice thick batter. For the non-veg version of the Kromeski batter, we are going to add some salt, pepper to 150 grams of flour. In that we are going to add 1 egg. So here do not add the baking powder. Here we are going to add 1 egg. Okay, whisk this, add some water, and make a thick batter. So see here it's a nice thick paste like batter. Okay, make sure in both we need to add yeast. Okay, so here the batter is going to get that aeration because of the baking powder. In the non-veg version, it is the egg, the yeast, and the beer. Okay, these three are going to make the Kromeski really light. All right, okay, the batter really light. So here we've dissolved the yeast with some sugar, okay, and water, and we're going to add that in both the batters. Mix it evenly and keep it covered with a damp duster in a warm place for about 20-25 minutes until the mixture rises, ferments, and becomes nice and bubbly and light. Okay, alright, next plan of work is to make the soup. So for that we have white onion, so we're going to slice that thinly. Again, it's a pureed soup, so we are not going to finely chop the onion. Okay, the cauliflower also cut them into even sized florets. Okay, and keep them aside. Take a saucepan, take butter, saute the onions until they turn nice and translucent and soft. Make sure not to brown the onions, otherwise it's going to affect the color of your soup. Then we are going to add in the cauliflower florets, saute them well, mix them well with the onions and the butter. Here we are going to add flour. Okay, so instead of cooking the cauliflower separately and then mixing it with a velouté or a bechamel, we are doing everything in one process. Okay, so we are adding butter, we are adding some extra butter, flour, so that's going to form a roux. It's going to coat all the florets of the cauliflower. Okay, and then we are going to add in a liquid. Okay, so here we are adding milk. So we are not adding full part milk, we are going to make a mixture of milk and stock. So here we've got some veg stock. Okay, so so for the vegetarian version you can use a mixture of milk and veg stock. Okay, for the non-veg version you can use chicken stock and milk. We are going to add in some sage leaves tied up. Okay, and let this simmer on the low to medium flame for about 15-20 minutes until the cauliflower is completely cooked. So here we have some grated cauliflower which we are going to saute in butter until light golden brown in color for garnish of the soup. We have some sage leaves which we are going to fry again for the garnish of the soup. Okay, and we've slivered some almonds and sauteed them in butter till golden brown again for garnish of the soup. So if you see here, the soup is completely cooked here, the cauliflower is cooked. So we'll cool this down and we'll blend this in a mixer until fine and smooth and strain it if required. Okay, for the salad we are going to cut the yellow cherry tomatoes into half. We're keeping them raw. We've cleaned the romaine lettuce. We're going to keep them in a bowl of cold water so that the leaves remain nice and crisp. We're going to cut the black olives into halves, or you can even cut them into roundels. The green zucchini, we're just going to cut them into thin slices at a slant because they are going to be grilled on a grill pan. The cherry tomatoes are going to be roasted in the oven. Over here we've taken a grill pan. We are just brushing the grill pan with oil. Heat up the grill pan and then we are going to grill the zucchini first. Okay, sprinkle some salt and the zucchini will cook really fast. Turn them. They'll get nice grill marks on both the sides, and once they are cooked, take them out on a plate. Okay, this is for the vegetarian Caesar salad. Okay, so going to mock the meat. Similarly, we need to grill the chicken for the Caesar salad. So we'll take the same pan, make it nice and hot, put the meat on the hot grill pan, sprinkle some salt and pepper on the meat, turn it upside down. When it turns nice golden brown and you get grill marks, and once the meat is completely cooked, take it off the gas, cool it down, because that's going to be used for the salad. Kromeski mixture is set inside the fridge. If you see here, the butter has helped, the panada has helped the Kromeski mixture to completely set. Alright, so you're going to shape the Kromeski into a barrel shape. That's a classical shape of a Kromeski, bulging in the center, tapering towards the side. Okay, and we're going to dust that in flour and keep it aside. Alright, now the size of the Kromeski really depends upon how many pieces you want to serve as a main course. Alright, so here we are making about medium shaped Kromeskis because we want to serve 2 pieces per portion. Alright, but the classical shape is like a barrel, bulging in the center, slightly tapering towards the end. Okay, dust them with flour because we want the Kromeski batter to stick to the Kromeski, hence the flour. Okay, similarly you will do it with the non-veg mixture. First we did with the veg mixture, now we are going to do it with the non-veg mixture. Okay, so dust the Kromeskis with flour. You can season the flour with salt and pepper. If you think that the Kromeski, the butter is melting, okay, and the Kromeski is not holding its shape, okay, after forming the barrel, before frying it, you can keep it inside the fridge once again. Okay, but this has to be done really quickly. So once the barrels of Kromeskis are shaped, if you see here, the batter has got really nicely fermented. Okay, just give it a light mix, and now it's time to add the beer. Okay, the beer needs to be added again just before service. So the beer is going to give that aeration as well as flavor. So mix the beer, don't vigorously mix it because we don't want the beer to go flat. Okay, so mix it lightly. The batter should not be very thin, the batter should not be very thick. Okay, beer is going to be added in both the veg and the non-veg mixture. So you see here, we are going to add the beer in the veg mixture as well. Okay, so the only difference is in the non-veg beer batter there is egg, and the veg beer batter there is baking soda or baking powder. Okay, So give this a light mix, and then make sure that the Kromeskis are fried at once. Okay, so we see here we have some oil. We're going to dip the Kromeskis in the batter and put them in hot oil. Okay, now here you have to make sure that the oil is not very hot. Okay, because understand, the Kromeskis are cold, right? So even though the mixture is cooked, you want the Kromeskis to become nice and hot from inside. Okay, so these will be fried until a nice golden brown color and they become crispy from the outside. So you see here, okay, the batter has fluffed up completely because of the aeration in the batter. Okay, so once they turn nice and golden brown like this, you take them out and put them on an absorbent paper and then serve them at once. Okay, so we're going to do that for both the veg and the non-veg Kromeskis. Okay, so again they look the same from outside, the veg and the non-veg Kromeskis. Okay, so for the non-veg one here, you can wrap the Kromeski with bacon traditionally, but if you've added bacon inside, you don't need to wrap it with bacon. But if you have really thin slices of bacon, you can wrap the Kromeski with the bacon, dip it in the batter and then fry it. Okay, you don't have to worry about the meats being cooked because they're already pre-cooked. They have to become nice and hot from inside the mixture, and the batter needs to be nice and crispy and golden brown from the outside. So see here, the Kromeskis are well fried. Take them out and they are ready to be served. So for presentation here, we're keeping it very simple. Okay, so we have the strained tomato sauce. Again, you can serve the tomato sauce separately in a sauce boat and then serve the Kromeskis on a separate plate. Now here we don't really make a separate potato accompaniment because there's already panada, okay, which is a lot of starch in itself. Okay, so we don't really have a lot of components here for presentation. You just have the sauce and the Kromeskis, okay, because everything goes inside the Kromeski. Okay, so you can use elements like fried mushroom slices just to give that green color. Okay, we're going to use some fresh basil leaves because that's gone inside the tomato sauce. Okay, and then we'll just use a small piece of frisee on top. Okay, another way of plating, since we have veg and non-veg Kromeskis, so we have a white plate now, so you can plate the sauce like this. You can put the Kromeski in the center like this and then put all the garnishes around and serve. Okay, since the Kromeskis don't really have a very fine dine kind of an appearance from the outside, okay, you can serve it casually, okay, like sauce separate and the Kromeski separate, like in a basket or just on a plate, okay, and make it look casual. Okay, so it's small piece of lettuce on top, and I'm just going to drizzle some basil oil. So those are Kromeskis with tomato sauce. Moving on to the salad here, again a very rustic kind of a salad. Okay, so we're just going to break some romaine lettuce in a bowl. We're going to add in some dressing. Okay, so here this is the veg dressing which we had made in the mug. Okay, so just toss the salad slightly in the Caesar dressing and then you can plate it. So we take a bowl, we put in the salad leaves which have been coated in the Caesar dressing, And then we put all the accompaniments. So we have some grilled zucchini here. Okay, so that's going to mock the meat. Okay, so we have some grilled zucchini, then we will put some olives, some cherry tomatoes, and some asparagus. So here we have two varieties. We have the red cherry tomatoes, which we have slightly roasted, and we have some yellow cherry tomatoes, which we've just kept them the way it is. And then lastly, we are just going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on the salad with some croutons. So here, instead of keeping the croutons whole, we slightly crushed them. Okay, so that's your veg Caesar salad. For the soup here, we are plating the soup in a nice black bowl, since the soup is off-white in color. And then we are going to garnish the soup. Okay, so for garnishing, we have some fried grated cauliflower. That's going to go on one half of the soup on top. So you're going to cover the entire one half of the soup with the fried grated cauliflower. Then we are going to add in some toasted almonds. So that's going to give a good crunch to a very smooth soup, and it gives a beautiful brown color in contrast to the off-white soup. And then I'm going to put in some fried sage leaves. Okay, and to finish the soup, just a little sprinkle of paprika, just a little bit in the center. So that's your cauliflower soup or creme de barre. For the egg based Caesar salad, okay, we are going to coat the course lettuce with the Caesar dressing. So you can do that with a brush like this. You're going to coat every slice of the leaves. So we've shown you one way where you can break the leaves and one where you keep the leaves whole, and then you simply present that on a plate. Okay, and then you place all the components around. So here we have sprinkled some Parmesan cheese on top, some croutons which have been crushed, some slices of grilled chicken, some roasted cherry tomatoes, some black olives. You can slice them, you can cut them into half, some yellow cherry tomatoes, and then finally some asparagus spears. Okay, so that's how you will present the Caesar salad. So see here, that's the soup, nicely garnished on one side. We have the Kromeskis with tomato sauce, and then finally you have Caesar salad. So that's menu 2. Simple dishes, classical dishes, basic presentation. Alright, so that's menu 2 for Sem 5. Thank you.